Hello. Good evening.
Hi.
How are we doing? So it was lovely. I must say, just starting off, it was lovely to watch Jade's face watching that. I don't see that side of it normally. If one of you's got the live playing, if you could just turn it down, that'd be fantastic. It might be even myself, so let me turn that off. So how are you? How have you been?
Yeah, all right. Hanging in.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. So Charley, I want to start with you. What I want you to do is I just want you just to let people know who you are, where you're getting married, and what your journey's been so far in terms of postponements, and when you were supposed to get married, and how the cancellation or the first postponement happened for you.
Yeah, so my name's Charley. My other half is called Graham. We are due to be getting married at Parklands Crendon Hall in Essex. Our original wedding date was the 27th of March 2020, but unfortunately it got cancelled due to the first lockdown 3 days before the wedding date. So as you can imagine, all my guests were already here. As Andy knows, because bless him, he's been going through my struggles with me for the last year. All my family were already flown in from all over the world and ready to go. So originally when it got cancelled in March, we did move it to September. Obviously in March, we were thinking it's 6 months. We've got loads of time. Like, we weren't stressing about it. We moved it to the 11th of September. Just, was kind of feeling free about it. Didn't really stress about it until it got to sort of end of May. And the venue were a bit like, I don't know if this is going to happen. How do you feel about holding another date? And we were like, no, we keep with September. It's going to be fine. And then it literally comes down to probably, I want to say 3 weeks before September date. And that's when they said that obviously the restrictions are going to go down to really low numbers. And we just ummed and ahed about it for so long. Our original day guest was 70. So to cut pretty much, 3/4 of our list off was quite hard. And obviously at that time as well, it did include all your suppliers. So it did mean your photographer was included, your videographer was included, registrar. I mean, you basically have like 9 people or something like that, including us. So it just got to the point where we were like, no, it's just not going to be right with 9 people. I've got split up parents. So obviously I've got stepdad, stepmom, stepbrothers, stepsisters. So even to have immediate family just on my side would have taken up all those spaces. So poor Graham would have ended up with none. So I thought that'd be quite unfair. So we did decide to cancel it, and we just held off completely. Luckily, our venue have been great, because I know people have had hell stories about venues and dates and other people, new bookings getting priority, where our venue's been really good with saying, look, these are the dates we have, hold as many as you need, and we'll just kind of move it accordingly. So at the moment, fingers crossed, we have got the 30th of April booked in. Originally it was going to be the 11th of March, so we've literally just moved it with Andy in the last week to the 30th of April. And we've also held a date in the middle of May. I'm hoping it doesn't go on longer than that, because we originally planned our wedding, we booked it in December to get married in March, so it was already only 12 weeks to get married. So now being delayed for another year is even more stress than trying to book a whole wedding in 12 weeks. It's actually been a lot worse. Like, we've got so many different lists of, if we had 15 people, it would be this. If it had 30 people, it would be this. And we just want to get to that point now where we can just enjoy it and get to it. But I think we have both decided that, if it goes to 30 again or smaller numbers, that we're just going to do it, because at the end of the day, it's about us getting married. And as much as I love everyone, I can celebrate with them anytime, where, I unfortunately have family that are really, really sick and might not make it past the next few months. So if I don't do it soon, I know there's going to be a long-term regret. So I just need to get it done.
No, perfect. Well, thank you for sharing all that. Like I say, that's very informative and brilliant, really. So thank you. And yeah, it has been a journey with you, bless you. And it's never a problem. I wish we were speaking on a better, more positive subject when you do communicate with me, but always happy to help. And like I say, I'm glad it's been okay. I'm just going to jump to Natasha. So Natasha, if you could just give us a little bit about your background and your story, where you was getting married and the cancellation and how it happened for yourselves.
Yeah, so I am also marrying a Graham. I am due to get married on the 21st of August this year. I postponed from the 8th of August last year. It got to May. I think the second announcement, we just sort of made the decision because we've got quite a lot of immediate family. We just thought, oh no, we'll just leave it. We'll delay it a year. We get to save a little bit more. And as soon as we postponed it, we added an extra tier to our cake just as a why not. And we're due to get married at de Rougemont Manor, which we found out in December that they're actually closing this year to make 48 houses. So if we don't get married this year, if we have to postpone again because of COVID, then I don't think that we're gonna be able to get married. It might just be a sort of we have to cancel because there's all the venues around us. I don't think that they're going to have any space, and we don't want to wait 2-3 years. So if we're going to wait that long, we'd rather buy a house. We've got 3 kids, we're renting, so it just makes sense to do that. So really, really hoping that it can all go ahead this year. We were quite lucky. We managed to keep all of our suppliers. So we emailed at the second announcement, just emailed everyone like, what dates do you have for August next year? And we just picked the date that everyone could come back on, and just got it moved. And there was a lot of tears and a lot of sulking on my end. But it's given us time to save a little bit more and like get extra bits that we weren't anticipating in the first place. And because we managed to save quite a bit, like where I'm not traveling into London, that's been quite helpful.
Yeah, no, we've got those questions. We will come to you. I think what a lot of people are, they're interested to see how you do planning from home. Do you change anything? So we've got lots of lovely questions that have already come in already, on top of hopefully what will come through this evening. I'm going to bring in Laura and Emily to introduce themselves. So if you have it playing on another device, just turn it down. I think Laura might. That's it. Perfect. Oh no. Let's put Emily in, and then Laura. There we go. Technical live TV, eh? If Laura, if you can hear us, just turn the other device off because it interferes. So if Graham's watching it on another tablet. But yeah, Emily, over to you. Just give us your thoughts, your story.
I mean, luckily, we haven't had to postpone. So Dad and I got engaged in December 2019, and I just got on straight away with organising everything. We're due to get married this year, September the 11th, at the Rochford Golf Club. I'm normally quite a negative, like worrying person, but throughout the whole experience, when we first booked, COVID wasn't even a thing, but all my suppliers have been amazing. And I think from my point of view, whether it's 15 or 100, we're going ahead regardless. I'm super positive that the majority of us should, get the weddings, that we, I know it won't be like 100%, but that we'll get a decent enough wedding. But no, I'm just grateful that at the moment I can't imagine the stress that postponing causes. But no, we've just been lucky enough not to have to go through that.
Yep, right. Like I say, it's such a I suppose a daunting task where you just don't know. You can't plan, can you? None of you can really set in stone as such, like I say, a roadmap for yourselves to say, oh yeah, this will be, and talk confidently. But I think your attitude is the right one to have. Obviously, if people want big weddings, we've said over the weeks, you can absolutely have them, but just think to maybe push back to later in the year or further. But yeah, I'm going to try Laura again. We're getting a little bit of feedback from your mic, Laura, but we'll try. Fingers crossed. So,
okay.
Tell us about your wedding, because yours is unique. Yours is different from everyone's. Yours is a bit of a nightmare.
It is. So, hi girls, my name's Laura, my other half is Stuart. So our original wedding date was the 20th of April 2020 over in Mallorca in Calador, getting married at a place called the Yacht Club. Absolutely stunning venue. My other half, Stuart, he proposed to me out there in 2018, and we just love the island. Hence why we, decided to get married there. So yes, so obviously we went into lockdown in March, and everything was still okay to maybe go ahead in April, and then it must have been, what was it, about 3 weeks to coming up to April, and we had an email to say really sorry, it's not going to go ahead, etc. So I was absolutely gutted. I've been waiting for this day for many years, because me and Stuart have been together 17 years this year. We've got 2 boys, so it's been a long time coming. So I was absolutely gutted and heartbroken. But yes, so then we rescheduled to do April 2021, and then obviously current situation still the same. We just thought, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to get the day that that I truly want. And I think for myself personally, why should I have less numbers, and why should I have a half-hearted wedding? I've waited long enough for this day, so I'm prepared to wait. So we are now May 2022. Fingers crossed.
Yes. Yeah, I'm personally, Laura, on first name terms with the admin site team on the beach. So yeah, if anyone wants a contact there, just hook me up, let me know.
So yeah, and it's not like we've got little numbers either. We had like about 60 adults flying out, and now we've got about 10 kids. So it's not like it was going to be a small wedding anyway, because I know when people tend to get married abroad, they only have like immediate family, and then they have a gathering when they come home. But which I also am doing. I am having a UK wedding party when I come home, just because I'm milking it, and I think, why not? I've waited long enough, so yeah. So that's, yeah.
Excellent. So what I'm going to do, just so we're all on, I'm just going to bring Jade in now. Obviously, she's a different situation. Jade was the video that we watched at the beginning, if anyone missed it. Jade got married on the 1st of October at the Fens. I had to think for the venue for a second there, Jade. And you was quite unlucky, wasn't you? Because you'd accepted 30. And 3 days before your wedding, they reduced it to 15. So 13 guests. So you had a mass panic and changed the list again. So just tell us a little bit about the sort of going from your original number to 30, and then going from 30 at the last minute to 15. How did you do it? And are they still friends?
I think everyone really understands. So at the beginning, we were going to have 90 in total, 50 in the day. And yeah, going down to 30, it was quite hard, just because you've got people, and then you've got the husbands or the wives of like your family, and then when it went down to 15, it kind of, in a way, it made it a little bit easier, because it's literally like, right, mums, dads, the bridal, you've got like the bridesmaids and the groomsmen. And yeah, it was literally, that filled it all up. So that's all we could have.
Perfect. Yeah. And Jade, what I want to try and do with yourself is maybe put a little bit more of a positive spin on it. So how obviously it wasn't what you planned, but it's what you had. And I know, because I witnessed it, it was an incredible day. It really was something special that I've actually never seen anything so intimate in the way it was with a family. Like, so just tell us how it left you feeling, and how would you now go back if you was given a choice? Would you now change your day to what you originally planned, or would you say no, actually I would keep and do it all again the way I did it?
I would 100% keep it the way it was. Like, yeah, because obviously a few days before they did change it from 30 to 15. There was a few tears, but at the end of it, like, I couldn't change anything about that day. It was just so perfect and so intimate as well, that you could speak to just your close family, and you can have a party any day. So I think we don't know whether it's going to be on our first anniversary or whenever we can, but we are going to have a massive party with everybody, probably even more people than we would have invited to the wedding. But yeah, so the day was literally, it was about Bradley and I getting married, really, and that's what we wanted. Sorry, the dog's on my lap. And yeah, I wouldn't change a thing, apart from the vase breaking the day before, but apart from that.
Perfect. So we're still getting a slight bit of interference, so hopefully that goes away. Right, okay, ladies, so I've got some questions for you. So have you been able to look back on things you didn't have booked? I know Natasha touched on this, but things you may not have thought, you know what, we can't really afford that, we'll stick that. But now you've had another year or 18 months to your weddings. Have you decided to revisit that list and think, you know what, let's treat ourselves and book that thing that we didn't quite think we was going to be able to afford or put in the budget? So if you ask one at a time, if we go to Emily first.
I mean, personally, because my wedding has never been postponed, I've kind of kept it the same. But I mean, the only thing I'm bearing in mind at the moment, because it may be less numbers, I might change kind of like the meal options, but it's just dependent on like what we can actually have at the time. Like I saw like a bride, I watched a video the other day and she had a caricaturist, and when I've been to the wedding fairs, I've never really given it a look, but it actually seemed like quite a fun aspect. So, I mean, if I can have something like that, you know, if the numbers allow, yeah, 100%, yeah, I will definitely, yeah, look into that.
Perfect. And what about yourself, Natasha? What have you added to Graham's list of jobs to get?
Well, after booking like the extra tier on the cake, I did treat myself to some Kurt Geiger shoes, which was quite nice, which my budget could now stretch to, which was quite nice. And food options, I think, like we're adding some canapes, and we're thinking of putting money behind the bar and stuff. And the suit as well that Graham was going to have, we're looking at maybe getting a nicer suit, and like instead of going for the custom made, we might go for made to measure, just extra little bits and like special stuff for us, like bridal underwear and like grooms like cologne and stuff, just little bits to just treat ourselves, just to be like, oh, do you know what, why not? We just get to add little bits.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. What about yourself, Charley? Did you add anything to the list?
So before the original date, like when it come up to the lead to it, we went and done our tasting, and we added so much stuff on, because they give you loads of extras. So for like Emily and everyone, when you get to your venues, literally before, they'll knock everything off by like 30-40%. So wait on some things, because you get massive discounts. So there was loads of things like pop-up tables and stuff. We were like, oh, let's get it. And oh, we can upgrade your DJ. I was like, oh yeah, let's get it. And we just added loads of things on last minute, which obviously straight after, when the wedding got cancelled, we were like, should we have added all that on? Is that a little bit jumping the gun? But since then, I think because you don't know what your numbers are, you're already thinking about your upgrades, because I'm already thinking, well, I've already paid my fortune. If all that money doesn't get used on my original numbers, where am I going to use it? Like, the possibilities are endless. I can't wait.
That's what I like to hear. And Laura, what about yourself? Have you added anything in, Laura? Any extras?
Yep, I have indeed. So, so we've added a Spanish guitarist to play for when everyone has drinks and canapes as soon as we're married. So I'm excited for that. We've also added some Mr. and Mrs. balloon type things. We've also put money behind the bar. So we're going to pay for, so when everyone first arrives, they're going to get free drinks. So then obviously up until the evening, and then once the evening comes, everyone then has to pay for their own drinks. And we've also originally, all the groomsmen and stuff were going to chip in and help to pay, towards the suits and stuff, and so did my bridesmaids. But now we've just decided, and thought, you know what, sod it. So we're doing everything now, and I think why not? So yeah, and I think at the end of the day, you only live once, and you can't take the money with you. So sod it.
Yep, it's a saying I hear a lot in my house, Andy YOLO, and I'm like, yeah, great, that means I'm picking up the bill for that.
Yeah, a bit like Stu.
I keep playing that. I'm unemployed at the moment, babe, but it's not getting me anywhere. Right, we've got a couple of questions which I'm going to jump to rather than ones that come in. So this is quite cool. Are you brides planning on doing a speech?
Hell no. I couldn't think of anything worse. Oh my goodness me! I'm dreading saying my vows, let alone doing anything else. Jesus Christ! That literally, I'm having nightmares now thinking about it. I don't know why, but I know they repeat it to you. But I guarantee you, hand on heart, I will say something wrong. I'll probably even say Stuart's name wrong.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing, like a Ross moment at like when he's marrying Emily.
Yeah, 100%. Like literally, all sorts fly out of my mouth. So.
So Charley, you're doing a speech, am I right?
Yeah, we're going a bit unconventional. So I'm doing a speech. My sister, who's maid of honour, is doing a speech, and then obviously Graham and his best man. The only thing that scared me was obviously. Cancelling the wedding so close. I said to Graham, have you done your speech yet? And he was like, I'm just going to wing it. And I'm like, please don't wing it. He's like, what are you not? And I was like, no, I've got like these cards that I've gone on board. Like, I'm fully prepared. He's like, no, I'm just going to go with it. I'm sure I think of something. I'm like, So I will make sure he actually does. There's something to add to the list. Something I would change. Graham to actually write his speech and not wing it.
I must say, some of the best speeches that I've witnessed have been off the bat. Totally stood up. It started slow, and then they got their first laugh, and then they got the next laugh, and then that was it. They was away. I think Bradley's speech was off his head. I don't think Bradley wrote a speech. Is that right, Jade?
He's actually here.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm pretty sure he didn't write a speech. He winged it. Right, so we've got a couple more. These are great, by the way, people that are popping these in. If I miss it, I'm sorry, but I just read one, and it was to Jade asking about how strict the registrars were when you walked down the aisle. I think they were quite relaxed. It was just the guests, wasn't it? They just had to wear masks. You didn't, did you? I'm pretty sure you didn't. Did you?
No, so Bradley and I we didn't have to wear a mask all day, which was very nice. Unfortunately, our guests did have to wear masks for the ceremony or when they weren't eating and drinking. So I remember the venue saying, well, we just need to make sure everyone's eating and drinking all the time. But at the ceremony, so we did have our favours everyone had like white masks with our initials and our wedding date like in gold, like down the little jawline.
Did the bridesmaids didn't either, did they?
They were meant to.
Right, okay, we'll say no more. We'll move swiftly on. We don't want to get anyone in trouble. So the next question here, ladies, was, has your venues been in contact with you? As we have not heard anything from ours and we're due to get married full-time lucky. It doesn't actually say a date for that one. But anyone soon I know, Charley, you said have they contacted you recently?
My venue literally They've been amazing. I couldn't ask for more. They're constantly in contact. When after the first wedding cancelled, I was a bit worried because I didn't hear from them for ages. But it was one of those things where you think they don't know what's going on either. They know exactly the same as what all of us do, and that's not a lot. So I kind of just left them to it. But whenever I've contacted them or sent them an email, they straight away either emailed me or contacted me by phone. And if they can't get through to me, they ring Graham, which is great. They don't just give up. But they've been really good. But I know I've been speaking to other brides on, some of the groups, and I know that they've had issues with venues, which is hard because even if they turn around and say to you, you know what, we don't know anything, we can't tell you anything, it's better than just not hearing anything at all.
Yeah, no, that's it. So Emily, I'll come to you for this one. Did you go to your suppliers to get a date or the venue first? If we have to postpone, I don't even know where to start this bride, I'm guessing, has put. So how did you start? Emily. Have you postponed, haven't you, Emily?
No, I haven't, no.
You haven't, sorry. Let's jump to Natasha then. Sorry, I'll give you another question.
So yeah, I went to my venue first and asked what dates they had, and they came back with 3, and then I went to all of my other suppliers and then asked, can you do any of these dates? And then after hearing back from Andy and our card and the church, it whittled down to 2 dates and that was it at the end of August. And then went out to all the other suppliers, and then we just picked the one that worked for everybody. I think our florist had something booked, and then when we said, oh, okay, we've picked this date, unfortunately we won't be able to go ahead with you, she was like, oh no, their wedding's been moved, so we can have you now. So that was good. Be able to just contacting the venue first.
Yeah, no, I think if you can get a couple of dates off your venue and come to your suppliers, it's a lot easier for us to look into our diaries and say, right, we can do that one, we can't do that one. Or I know a few of you even on here have come to me and said, Andy, what have you got in June this day? I just need Fridays or Saturdays in June. What have you got? And it's easier to go that way sometimes. But yeah, like I say, it's one call to me as a supplier, but you poor ladies have to make probably about 12. So yeah, don't envy you there. There's so many questions. This is fantastic. There we go. We get to that. I'm trying to find one for you, Emily. But right, so let's get one off of here for a second, and Emily, you can answer that. What did you? No, that don't appeal to you either, Emily. Have you? Right, that one does. We get there. It's because it's not my handwriting. That's really neat, and I can't read it. So, Emily, how have you found wedding planning from a couch? How have you found doing it from home and not having to go out there?
Not too horrendous, to be honest. I mean, I think I previously said before we come on, I'm normally such a worrywart, but I mean, luckily, I think the majority of the things I managed to get booked before COVID properly set in. But I think I booked my cake when lockdown, I think about April time. But the lady who I've gone with was absolutely amazing, and she was so thorough, and she's really made me feel confident. And luckily, in between sort of lockdowns and tears, we managed to go around her house and pick all the flavours. But do you know what? I haven't actually found it that stressful. I think I've got a lot of thanks to give to my mum for keeping me grounded and just assuring me it'll be fine. But no, for some reason I've just been so chilled about it. But no, I think as long as you've got good suppliers that communicate with you, then it shouldn't be a problem. And I think you should always be assured and positive.
Yeah, and on that sort of ground, when you said about the suppliers, have you found them really flexible, changing the dates, going with them? Have you had any bad experiences? So you don't have to name them. I don't want to trash anybody, but has it been pretty easy?
All the suppliers I've gone with have been absolutely amazing, and just got me booked in straight away. And I think the only problem I've had a little bit is with the getting my dress altered, but obviously, you know, it's COVID, you know, you can't promise dates and whatever. But no, honestly, I've had really positive experiences with everybody. I think I've just been really lucky that I've chosen the right people.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm going to put a question to the other three. Not leaving you out here, Jade, I promise. You can answer though if you want to. So it's with your original date, wedding date. Did you celebrate? If so, what did you do? Well, I know what Natasha did. But what did you do on the day that you were supposed to get married? Did you cry? Did you party? Did you do something special? Get romantic? Have a nice meal? Or all of the above?
I'll be honest, I cried all day and I just kept looking at the time and kept saying to myself, I should be getting ready and then I should be walking down the aisle, I should be doing this and this. It was horrendous. So if I could turn the clock back now, I would definitely wouldn't do that. That was a very silly thing to do. But yeah, so I was very emotional, so very silly. But after that day was over, I was then, you know, I looked at the bigger picture. I looked at what was going on in the world, how people were losing loved ones, etc. And so, yeah, I just put my big girl pants on and thought, Laura, grow up. Do you know what I mean, basically? So, but yeah, so after that, I was absolutely fine. And I'm still okay about it now, you know. And I think everything happens for a reason. So yeah, so that was me.
Laura, if it makes you feel better, I looked on your wedding day and thought I would be doing that now, and I cried as well. So
Oh, did you?
I'll just be getting out of the swimming pool
With a beer in hand.
Yeah, it really does. Charley, sorry.
A good and a bad thing, but the 27th of March was so hot, which was a good and a bad thing. So I was like, oh, it would have been really sunny on my wedding day, which is annoying. But it was hot. So Graham took the day off. We sunbathed outside. We drank champagne. We ordered in Mexican food. We've got like a little pub built in our garden. So we just had like a little pub date in our garden, which it was nice. It was the best of a bad situation, but I have to admit, I went to bed at night. I was like, I'm going to go and take my makeup off and just had a little cry in the bathroom, come out. Like,
Brilliant. And Natasha, what did you do?
So the day before, we had our engagement photo shoot with Andy, which was really nice. And then when it was our wedding day, he sent us some photos, which was really nice to look at. And we went to Lincolnshire for the weekend, where Graham's from, and it was so romantic. We had a hot tub, like really nice meal. I got really dressed up, and I did shut myself in the bathroom and have like a cry, like, oh, it would have been such a nice day, like, because it was the hottest day that it had been all year. And when Graham was driving, he was like, oh, I'm glad we're not getting married today. I would have been sweating in my suit. And I was just like, oh, I should have been getting married today. Like, I wanted to wear my dress, so it would have been perfect. But that's what we did. We did celebrate it a little bit.
Brilliant. Yeah, I remember you saying, how did you take the hill up to the castle in that heat? Was it good? Did you go into Lincolnshire itself?
Yes, we did go into Lincolnshire, but we didn't go up to the castle.
Yeah, don't blame me. I'd have stayed in the hot tub too.
Oh no, it was too hot. We went to Cambridge the day after, which was lovely. That was hot though.
Perfect. So this one is, are you gutted about the evening reception? More than likely not to happen. Before you answer, I'm going to go to Jade, and I want you to give your spin, Jade. I know you had a first dance, which we mustn't tell anybody because it's a secret. But how did it affect your? Was we allowed? I won't get in any trouble then. But how did you find that not having an evening? How did it affect? It didn't seem to bother anyone, I must admit, watching from a side.
No, everyone, so basically we did have a DJ first of all planned, but obviously we couldn't have music louder than talking level. We couldn't have anyone playing anything. So basically I sat down and created playlist after playlist of, sit down meals, and then gradually turn it into kind of dancing, but don't do it too much that people want to get up and have a jiggle. But when we found out that aren't allowed to dance, but we could have a first dance, or Fen said that we could have a first dance. We were kind of thinking about it a little bit before, that we should do like a choreographed, like or you know, like a planned dance. And literally, I think it was 2 days before the wedding, we're like, no, right, we definitely need to do one. So we looked on YouTube. We were like, I'd written it all down. I think we did like 2.5 hours for over 2.5 hours each day for 2 days before the wedding, and which I think it really helped, because it wasn't just shuffling around the dance floor with people watching and they couldn't join in either. But people liked the music I chose, and they had a little boogie in their seats. They were allowed to have a little boogie in their seats. And yeah, you can dance anytime, but I'm just so happy that we could have our first dance.
Perfect. Yeah, no, it like you say, I think everyone seems to think it will have no atmosphere, and that's not the case at all. It really wasn't. So Charley, what about yourself, in regards to possibly not having an evening?
I think I'll be quite disappointed, if I'm completely honest. Only because I have a massive family, and we're a family of dancers and actors and singers and partiers. So I think it'll be quite sad not to do that. But do you know what? The most important thing is having your vows and, you know, just committing yourself to each other. So, you know, if it means having a big party in a year or a couple of years and having that, then so be it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I totally agree to that. But about yourself, Emily?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much the same as Charley. I've got a massive family. My mum's one of 9, so like it's always such like a big family occasion when we have a wedding. So yeah, not to have like an evening reception would be like massively gutting. But I mean, like Charley said as well, I mean, if it was to really come to that, I mean, I would always celebrate in like a year or two's time. I mean, yeah, the most important thing to like Dad and I at the moment is just to get married and get that part done. But yeah, no, I would be gutted if we couldn't have a reception.
I also wanted to add that although we weren't allowed to dance, it was a different kind of evening reception. So it wasn't like the usual, you know, let's everyone go on the dance floor, have a drink and stuff. It was more like, you know, if you're at a restaurant with family and friends and just like chatting away, and yeah, it was nice. It was different, but it was nice.
I got to admit, actually, Jade, we was lucky enough to sort of, well, our friends who got married on the same day as you, they had the same situation. And actually, like, there was a bit filmed from their wedding, and do you know what? Me and my partner like looked at it and we thought, you know what? Actually, it looked as though they just had the most amazing day, and it actually puts it into perspective that it doesn't. It's still the perfect day, definitely.
So for the ladies still planning a wedding, have you found that it's helped with lockdown? Because obviously lockdown is dull, boring. I know a lot of you are still working from home, but has it been nice to have a distraction from the madness that we're living in? Go on, Natasha.
It's sort of a double-edged sword. Like, so you can get like, it is a really nice distraction, like looking at and thinking about what you're going to look like, and I can do this to my hair. But then I kind of find like you've got too much time as well, and you keep changing your mind and flip-flopping, like, I could have my hair like this or like that, or I could do my makeup like this or like that, and you don't actually know what your wedding's going to look like, so you can't actually plan it in your head. So it's really up and down. That's what I found.
I just keep falling in love with my dress. 1 minute I love it, next minute I hate it. Because for me, I got my dress back in 2018, September 2018. So my dress is going to be 4 years old by then. So I'm just like, yeah. So it's I keep debating, should I change it? Should I not? And the thing is, because my job, I'm a bridal consultant. So it's literally, as much as I love my job, it is the worst job also, because obviously we're constantly getting new styles in, etc. It's quite good because at the minute obviously I'm furloughed, so I haven't worked since last March, since the first lockdown. So it has been quite handy in that respect, but yeah, I'm sure I'll love it. I just have to stop looking at Pinterest and Instagram and just, yeah.
Although I'm going to jump questions here, you've led me nicely into it. Because the time's gone on, have you found that you've changed your mind on anything that you pre-booked to your wedding? Have you gone, because it's been extended, I might change that, or that colour's, I'm not feeling that colour now. Has anything changed?
I've changed my cake.
Yeah, added an extra tier and the colours of the bridesmaids' dresses. So they've got two. They've both got two dresses, so they can either go like a nice greeny colour or a navy blue. So like I'm in an R-in about those.
Charley, did you change anything?
I keep same as Laura. I'm in an iron about my dress, but my mum chose my dress, so I'm like, oh, is that an awkward one to go through? So I don't know if I'll even do it. I'll just go with the dress. And I keep trying to convince Graham to change his suit colour, which it's. But the thing is, I'm the one who chose the colour, and now I'm like, I don't know if I can change it. But it matches our theme, so I'm like, oh, I don't know. I've just same as Laura. I just got to stop looking at stuff, because you just get bogged down with it. You just think, I'm just going to change everything, sod it. Everything
you do,
room. I change everything.
That's the thing. You're constantly thinking there's something else out there that's better, bigger and better, and you think, and then come next year, it's going to be new of everything, like every style, cakes, you name it, invitations, everything's going to, it's going to be new or something, and you're just going to, do you know what I mean? So it's, just don't look. All social media should be shut down.
It's funny you say that, because if you don't know me, I can probably come across as a bit of a sarcastic person on Facebook groups. And someone posted saying, hi ladies, this is last year. Does anyone got any advice of what's going to be in for 2021? And my response was everything that should have been in for 2020. And, let's just say it wasn't received very well by the original poster, but yeah, I just find you just got to laugh about these things, definitely. What I am pleased about is none of you have decided to change the groom, so that's a plus. Lockdown is going well. And what I would say is, how have you found? Did you, especially like you say, going through this hard time, have you found it's brought you closer together and tighter because going through something like this?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah, I mean, I was like furloughed at the first part of it as well, which doesn't really do your like mental health or the world of good, and like it just makes me realise like what a good, amazing person he is, and he's just been so good to me and supporting me and making sure I'm laughing and smiling constantly. I know that sounds really easy, but yeah, he honestly just is the best person. I'm so glad I'm marrying him.
That's lovely. Anybody else?
Yeah.
I think for myself, is that, I am unfortunate for the fact that I work for a health club provider, so we've pretty much been closed most of the year. So I've been in and out of furlough since March, where my other half works for Royal Mail, so he's obviously been working like crazy. So I think for him, he's been quite distracted, which is good, and not had to stress about it as much until it gets to sort of these dates when it gets to postponing, where I think I've been stressing about it a lot. So I think he's got a bit of the patience of a saint, don't listen. But I think he's got the patience of a saint, because I think I've been an absolute nightmare, because I just want to hurry up and get it done. And I think I've just been so stressing, like what you said, Emily, when you're in lockdown, your mental health's not there as it is, let alone stressing about whether your day's going to happen. So I think he's a little bit been my rock, and where he carries on working, I just live through him instead and try and go, oh, what's been going on in Royal Mail today? It tries to really interesting.
Yeah, no, it is brilliant. Natasha, have you got anything to add? Not putting you on the spot or anything.
Yeah, I think it brought us closer together, but we have both been working like the entire time, and he works nights. He's a key worker, working nights, and I've worked for a law firm, and my workload has just completely increased. So we've both been really busy and just sort of shit's passing like, but the time that we do get to spend together is sort of more special. And then like we do talk about our wedding and like silly little things that we do. We have like little date nights, so we make more time for each other, and we've actually like picked our first dance song and like had like a little dance, like sent the kids up to bed and just like put candles on and stuff. And I don't know, it's just sort of really lifted our moods.
Yeah, no, I think that's been a key across the board. I think if you can communicate as a couple, but I know when I'm being a little bit of a difficult chap to live with, and I also know when I need to crack a joke and smile and put my arm around and say, "Come on, it'll be okay." And I think if you've got that communication, anything's possible. We said that about homeschooling. We said, "Look, anything's possible," because trust me, it's a challenge, as many of you know. But so what I'd like to move on to, I just read it. It's been hot in the press and on the news this week about holidays. So are you planning a honeymoon or staycation? I know, Laurie, you've got no choice. You've got to go. Or are you going to jab and go, as they say, is the new advert on Ryanair? So what are your plans, your thoughts, and how are you putting that together in your planning?
I mean, with mine, okay.
Carry on, Emily. It's fine.
I mean, mine originally, well, we didn't have anything planned, but it was our 10-year anniversary in 2020. We was meant to just go to Centre Parks. I'm not a massive abroad person. I just had bad experiences, so I just don't bother. So yeah, we meant to go to Centre Parks last year, so that all got cancelled. And so they were amazing. They just transferred us all over. We've just upgraded what we basically had. So we got that booked in for, I think, 2 days after the wedding. But personally, for me, I just feel as though, a staycation is a bit of a safer option at the moment. But yeah, I'm massively looking forward to it. Centre Parks is my favourite place.
Jade, what about yourself? Have you and Bradley decided to have a look at something?
So originally we were wanting to go to Dubai and the Maldives pretty much around now, like January to now kind of time. I'm so glad we didn't book anything. We actually went on a mini moon to Cornwall straight after the wedding for I think it was 2 weeks. So kind of like a staycation. And we do hope to go to the Maldives and Dubai at some point. Hoping like October maybe, or maybe February next year. So yeah, soon.
Fingers crossed. And Charley?
We had Mauritius booked for March for the day after the wedding. And, same as our venue, they've actually been really good. Like as much as we've changed all our supplies and our venue date, we've changed our honeymoon every single time as well for the day after the wedding. So they've actually been really good. So, what I would say is just be really open and honest with them. Like we literally just said, we just don't know. So can you look at dates and can you look at times? And the first time round when it cancelled, and we moved the date to September, we actually got money back because obviously it wasn't a peak season of being in March. We got back quite a lot, if I remember. Was it like £1,500? I want to say it's about £1,500 we got back from them, which they gave us the money because originally they was like, oh, we'll upgrade your flights, and we was like, we're already on the best flights, and they were like, we'll upgrade your room. We're like, we've already got the best room. And they were like, oh, okay, we'll just give you a refund. So that's good. But so I'm kind of hoping this date goes ahead because we've got it for so cheap now. So I don't really want to book anything else. So it would be nice to go. But actually, funny enough, Mauritius was one of the countries that didn't go into a lockdown when we did in March. So even though our wedding got cancelled, our honeymoon didn't actually get cancelled till like the day before we would have been going. And they contacted us saying, oh, actually they've closed the hotels even though the island's still open. So it looked like we was almost going on the honeymoon without having the wedding, nearly. Which would have been nice now, thinking about it. I need a holiday.
And Natasha, yourself?
So we did book our honeymoon last year. It was something that we thought like, right, we're going to book it. We're going to look forward to it because it's going to happen. So we booked our all-inclusive holiday to Turkey. So hoping that goes ahead. Just do what you have to do so that we can go.
Yeah, that's a polite way of saying everybody stay the F indoors. So Laura, what's your plan? I'm guessing you just stay on, do you, and go to a different hotel maybe or something while you're out?
So the hotel we plan to obviously stay at while we're there. We're planning to go out there, I think, for about 12 days. So we're gonna do that for 12 days, same hotel. And then the following year, so which will be now 2023, we are eventually, hopefully, fingers crossed, going to go to Santorini. Nothing booked as of yet, but because we've got kids, etc., I do plan to palm them off to grandparents for a week. So fingers crossed. So we've got nothing planned honeymoon wise, and we hadn't had beforehand either, because we always planned to get married, come home. Obviously we were going to have we were always planning to have it a year later anyway, so we wouldn't have had our honeymoon originally until this year. So that was way, we had nothing set in stone or anything like that, hadn't booked anything, so yeah, that wasn't even thought of. But yeah, we're hoping to go to Santorini. So yeah.
No.
But I'm hoping to go away this year if I can. Anywhere, UK, abroad, I don't care. I just need to get out of my four walls. I've got the streets. I've had enough of walking my streets. I need to get in my car and drive, go anywhere, don't care where it is. I just need to go somewhere, and yeah. So as long as it's not my four walls, I don't care.
Excellent, and I think we're all with you there, Laura, 100% getting out. What I would say, not just for yourselves, but for anyone that's watching or watching it later date, in a couple of weeks, we do have Caroline coming on from Devoted Travel. So she is up to date with all the rules and regulations. She can also offer you fantastic stays in the UK, plus abroad. So she'll be a perfect one to watch on this subject. Absolutely. So obviously you can't trust what you read. So hear it from the horse's mouth. Not that I'm calling Caroline a horse. That is bad. But her husband Jimmy will laugh at that. I don't know if Caroline will, but she'll be on, and she is fantastic. So yeah, having her on will help with those sort of questions. We are just getting ready to round up a little bit now. But what I want you to do, if possible, Emily, I'm not freezing you out here, but you can have an opinion. Is I want you to give your best tip to those brides that are possibly looking at postponing because their weddings are 2021 and it's the first time round. So as brides that have postponed or soldiered on, what would be your best top tips to those brides in that situation? And we'll start down the bottom corner. We'll go with you, Natasha, first, and work our way along.
I think my best advice would be to just it would be to just breathe, and then if you're going to postpone, take the plunge, postpone. If you're not comfortable, just postpone, and the suppliers and everything will all be really, really helpful. They'll all be really kind. Everyone will be really nice. If you are going to go ahead, then you need to make that decision. But postponing it, as sad as it is when your wedding day comes, it's not the worst feeling. So just breathe through it. You'll get through it. Have a cry if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. What about yourself, Emily? I know you've not had to do it, but what would your advice be on the subject?
No, I haven't postponed, but like I was sort of like lucky enough to see my friend get married in October last year. She was I think mid-October, and it's really honestly not as bad as you think. Her day was perfect, and I think for me, where I've just continued along the road of just going ahead with it, you just got to think positive. Your wedding will happen. It's like what Natasha said. It's just dependent. It's really dependent on what you want. If you want that big, old, huge wedding, then yes, 100% postpone. for 2022, 2023, go ahead. But if you're just honestly wanting to get married, please just go ahead. It will still be an amazing day. My friend Brooke, like, the day was absolutely stunning, and she didn't regret anything about it. She had the best day ever. So yeah, it's just really dependent on what you want.
Yeah, perfect. Laura?
My first tip would be, do not look at anything. If you've planned your wedding, leave it as it is. Do not look at wedding dresses, do not look at bridesmaids dresses, do not look at suits, cakes, hair, makeup, nails, you name it, shoes. Do not look at anything. Get rid of Pinterest on your phone for starters, because you don't need it. Plan your wedding, you know what you want. That's it. That's my advice. Because I tell you, Stuart's had enough. Do you like this, babe? Do you like this? Do you like, what about this? He's literally, I'm not even sure if he is going to marry me next year, but so he's shaking his head. But yeah, that would be my best advice. Get rid of Pinterest, get rid of Facebook, Instagram, get rid of it all.
Perfect. Jade, have any advice you'd give on the subject?
My best advice is do what you want to do, or what you as a couple want to do. I remember I had so many people saying, "Are you going to postpone? Are you going to postpone? I think you should postpone." And I'm like, no, I am sticking to my date. This is the date I wanted. It's not what I thought it was going to be, but I wouldn't change a thing about the day. So do what you want to do as a couple, of course.
Very subtle there, Jade, at the end. We all know that Bradley done what you told him to do. No, I know you did. I'm only teasing. Charley, what about yourself?
Two things I would say. First one is, I know it sounds really stupid, but it's a girly thing, so they'll understand. Your makeup artist. If you don't feel happy with your makeup trial, change it, because I didn't have a great experience with a makeup trial, and I left and I didn't say anything, and the whole day I was really sad, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to break it to this person. And it literally came down to like a week before, and I was like, I'm really sorry, but I don't think I'm going to use you anymore. So go with your gut on your makeup. It's your day. Those photos are going to live with you forever. So I would say just invest time in that, because it's the one thing you don't probably think about as much as your dress and your groom stuff and your bridesmaids presents. It's kind of your last minute things, so think about that. And the other thing I would say, keep in touch with your bridesmaids. I was really bad when the first date cancelled. I just kind of said to them that it's cancelled, and then kind of blocked everyone out. And I think you need that boost of your bridesmaids or your close family, and something to look forward to. Like, I've been really open and honest with my bridesmaids the last few months and said to them, I'm struggling a bit to kind of keep the momentum going. And they're like, we can have a second hen do. Graham gets a second stag do. Like, there's so much to look forward to. And I think that's really helped, because it's just little wins. If we can't go abroad, to know that if something does open, even to go to a pub and have a pub meal, I don't care. It'll be with my girls, and I'm sure I'll have fun, and I'm sure Graham would have fun at his second stag do. So yeah, just try and find yourselves little things to be excited about, and don't stress about all the rest of the details. It'll be perfect when it gets to it.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant advice from all of you there. What I would say is, though, if I had to redo my stag do, COVID would be the least of my problems. So I'm glad I don't have to relive that one. We've still got good numbers, and I've got to ask this question because it's fantastic, because hopefully it will crack a laugh as well. Have you had to downsize the bridal, like the squad? So you've got the guy squad, the groom squad, the bride squad. Has anybody, if the numbers get reduced, has anybody made the chop, and are you still friends?
We've not told him. They find out like along the line. They're not finding out beforehand.
Brilliant. Charley, we come straight back up to you.
I haven't cut anyone yet, and I haven't made Graham cut anyone. But if push comes to shove, I'm going to have to choose the best friend. The other two best friends too, but I've got one friend that's been my friend for like life. Is like my ride or die. And if it means choosing one person, unfortunately, Sorry, girls. It's gone. Hopefully they're not
Emily?
watching this. Hopefully.
I mean, like, you know what? I've been really lucky. My immediate sort of like bridal party, they've all been like really amazing because I've heard all these like horror stories of having to like cut bridesmaids, and I thought, Jesus Christ, like, I really don't want to be in that position. But like, I think in regards to like actual sort of wedding guests, yeah, we've definitely thought about cutting it because we just think like. I think throughout the whole COVID thing, it's just made us thought, you know what, no, these people mean most to us. But no, I've been really grateful with my immediate wedding party. I haven't had to cut anybody.
And Laura, please don't say me, Laura. But
no, definitely not you. Don't worry. No, we haven't had to cut anyone either, and I'm hoping I don't have to either. So hopefully by 2022, it should all hopefully weddings be back to normal. So, but if I had to cut people, then yeah, I have made lists, and I do have various people on my lists. So yeah, I won't name names, but yeah, I have got a fair few lists. But it is at the end of the day. So, but yeah, Jade, I take my hat off to you doing what you've done, because hand on heart, I don't think I could have done what you've done. So, but yeah, so well done to you.
Thank you. I'm glad I did what I did, and didn't
have you still
listen
got
to the parents.
Jade, did you have anybody that took offence, or was it all fine when you had to say sorry, you can't now come?
So it was kind of a tricky one, because when it was 30, as I said, it was more difficult when it was 30 because we actually had 31 people. So we were like, oh no, we're going to have to cut someone. But when it went down to 15, it kind of was a little bit easier because it was just immediate family. I did ask my cousin to be a bridesmaid, but she was in Australia, so she couldn't come in the end. But all the other bridal party was there.
Yeah, no, it was lovely. Well, ladies, I must say that was brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to all your journeys so far. Obviously, from my own personal point, I fingers crossed everything works out and we see you all on the dates we're supposed to see you on. But as you know, if you need to talk or need to change, just give me a call and we sort that. As you know, it's not been a problem for myself, and I'm sure most suppliers it's been fine. But the feedback coming through, Laura, there's a few people that want to come and see you at your shop when you're back working. I don't know if they want to dress or they just want to chat about being in Instagram and going through all that.
So yeah, the shop's called Something New, and we're based in Wokingham in Berkshire. So yeah, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Just thought I'd put a plug in there. But so yeah, come see me by all means.
Brilliant. Someone said I'd love a groom's chat. Now I don't, as much as I would love that, I'm not 100% sure we would get lots of following, but I'm sure. Well, actually, you might all turn up to see what they say.
I would love to hear what Stuart's got to say. You should do it.
I actually think Stuart would, though. That's
well, he's actually shaking his head. He's like, no.
But no, I thank you all. I know it's easy for us to well, it's not easy for us, but we try to pretend it is, but we come on and chat. So I know to come on and share such personal information and difficult times is not easy. So thank you very, very much. Like I say, everybody's loved it. The comments, it's been a lot of praise and how amazing you all are. And thank you for making me feel more positive. And I'm sure you can catch up on all these comments and answer them as you want in the group. But ladies, thank you ever so much. You can stay there. I will end the live very shortly, but if you stay where you are, we can have a chat just off and say goodbye there. We've got 3 or 4 more suppliers next Friday. I'm having a night off, so he doesn't know it yet, but if he's free, Aaron from Scarlet Hearts will be presenting because he's done such a fantastic job on Tuesday, and the event will be posted in the group very soon. So have a wonderful weekend and all raise a glass. It's half term next week, so no homeschooling for everybody, and we can enjoy our week. So good night, everybody. Thank you.
I'm throwing a party.